Welcome to the Mind Games podcast. Today, we are joined by the only player to ever win a comp with both the Panthers and the Bulldogs. He is a Clive Churchill Medalist and now has forged a flourishing career in business. Paul Dunn, enjoy. Alrighty, welcome back to the Mind Games podcast. We're back in the Buy Round studio, so a big thank you to Charlie, Jimmy and Anthony for letting me use the studio again. It's only fitting we're here with Clive Churchill Medalist in Paul Dunn. How you going, mate?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
That's the way, mate. I'm good. Thanks again for coming aboard and doing this. I know when I floated at the start, you were like, oh yeah, absolutely, let me know. So I appreciate your support with that. We actually know each other, and there's a common theme here with a lot of my guests, but through sport. So Dunny and I actually play a little bit of golf together. So I've heard a lot of his shit stories and different things. He's heard a lot of mine. So we'll go through a few of those today. And yeah,
yours are more shit than mine.
Yeah, that's true. Mate, obviously, for people that don't know you, you had a pretty illustrious rugby league career. You debuted at the Roosters, right?
Yes.
Roosters, Dogs, Panthers, Eels. Is that right?
And finished at the Roosters.
Yeah, finished at the Roosters. You played a bit of Origin, played for Australia, won a Clive Churchill medal, the only person ever to win a comp with the Dogs and the Panthers. Let's get into that.
Yeah, I found that out because my cousin screenshotted a question on the Matty John show about 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Who was the only player to win that? And it was me. And I get on Facebook about once every 2 weeks, and I just happened to see that post. Yeah,
there you go. I reckon you might.
So now I don't want Canterbury to win the competition till they all leave.
I think you might be safe there for a bit.
No.
Who do you go for now?
Sort of flip flop a little.
Yeah,
Canterbury and Penrith.
Every week at golf, Dunny's like, "Oh, my team won last night," and it could be a number of teams.
There's only two. I guess.
Fair enough, mate. So, country boy.
Yeah, I was born in Marlong. A lot of up till year 7 we're in Orange. Went to a rugby league school, De La Salle, and we used to drive all over the state, winning knockout carnivals. Then we'd come to City for the state knockout and get beaten in the first or second round. That was rather humiliating. And then the 4 years before I came to Sydney, I was in Bathurst. So I did 1 year at Mitchell College. The extent of my rep career up until coming to Sydney was I played Group 10 under 18s. I played against Cement. He was in Group 11. And then I was playing reserve grade in first grade the year after I finished school. And time up already.
Yeah, and, pretty much.
And this bloke up there, Bob Heffernan, he something to do with the Roosters. So he said, that was in sort of April. I was playing first grade mainly then. He said, would you be interested? I said, yeah, why not? And then at the end of the year, I played in the reserve grade grand final. He grabbed me that night, and then he organised for me to speak to John Quayle and Laurie Fry, who was the coach. And I come down and trialled. So that was the start of 83. And back then they used to have an import rule. You're only allowed to have 13 imports in your roster.
And what an import is from the country?
Oh, if you came from another district, like if you weren't a local junior. And to qualify as a local junior, you had to play.
The Dogs wouldn't have a team now. The Dogs wouldn't have a team now.
Come on, got Bailey Hayward and Jacob Carraz.
Bailey Hayward's a Roosters junior.
Played for St George Dragons. And Carraz.
He played for Newcastle.
Yeah, but he went
I'm just playing, mate.
Anyway, shit talk.
Import rule.
I remember my first trial was on the 30th of January out at Lidcombe Oval, and there were 6 trials that day, so there were 6 teams from East, 6 teams from West, and I was in the last game because apparently better players were at the end. I don't know about that. And then the next week I played a reserve grade trial at Park on the Cooks River that no longer exists. It's units. And then a week later, I was on a plane flying up to Toowoomba. It was a DC-3, so it was a 40-year-old plane, Rebel Air. The Roosters always used to fly because it was cheap. And we flew up to Toowoomba. I played the reserve grade trial, sat on the bench for first grade. So I'm 19. I've been in Sydney for 3 weeks, and I'm signing kids' arms and pie wrappers. And then we jumped on a bus and went down to the Gold Coast. So we had Saturday night and then Sunday. And John Mackay taught me how to peel a prawn at the Twin Towns RSL the next day. One of the best skills I've ever learned in my life.
Yeah, nice. Oh, you just peel lobsters now.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
And then the next week I was in the 3rd grade trial at Wyong, and then they said, well, you're an import, we can't justify. So my parents came and met John Quayle, and he said, well, you can either go back, and if you don't make country first, you're wasting your time, or stay here and play President's Cup, which is after our experiences with country football selections, thought it was easier to play with the Roosters.
That's under 21s, right?
Yeah, it was then.
Yeah.
They've changed it a number of times over the years. And then there was a stack of kids from the country. There was a kid that I used to go to school with in Bathurst, Maxville, a few from up that way, a couple from Wagga. Ended up living or sharing a flat with one of them for a while. And we got to the final, we got beat by Souths, which was very annoying because for the next 10 years, every time I'd go to a nightclub in the eastern suburbs, this one guy who took the intercept come up and sort of big note. So you couldn't really bash him. And then they were almost going to grade me then, and John Quayle talked Laurie Farag out of it. He said, because if he doesn't get graded next year, then you've got another year to qualify. And I got graded next year anyway, so I used to have that asterisk denotes imported player next to my name.
Yeah, right. There you go.
Back to 1984.
So wait, even in first grade, you could only have how many imports?
13 in the club, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
So if you would have been a Penrith junior,
Central Coast.
Anyway, well, Central Coast, then you would have been an import everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had to qualify, or you're one of the imports.
Yeah, okay. There you go.
And so I went and played for Bondi United, played about 10 games with them in B grade. We won the grand final. And then I got graded the next year with the Roosters.
Yeah, nice. So you mentioned a few different people there. Like, who were your sort of key mentors when you first come into grade?
Well, Laurie Fry was a coach, and Laurie's a nice guy. Coaching was a little bit, how you going? Like, the funny thing was, the year before, they were coming second halfway through the comp, and then he won the Coca-Cola Coach of the Year award, which was a trip to America. And before he left Ron Jones with a shopping list that had sort of Wally Lewis, Gene Miles, Greg Dowling, half the Queensland side. And he came back and he got Tommy Arbour, Alan Neal, the two Sorensens, Roland Beckett, Shane McKellar. Didn't really set the world on fire. And, yeah, so I played in most of the trials, and I got picked for 3rd grade the first week we were playing Manly, and it got washed out because it was at the SCG. So I played half of reserve grade and ran on for the last 2 minutes and 4 seconds of first grade.
So was that your debut?
Well, now it is. Back then it wasn't.
Oh, okay. So it only counts
your debut only counted if you started.
Yeah, okay.
Back then.
So did they make a...
Like, now my Roosters number's 10 higher than what it was before.
Oh, so it changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So when you made your starting debut, would they make a big deal about that at all, or not really?
No.
Not in those days. Did your parents come?
Yeah, they were in the stands. So my parents and my brother, who's 10 years younger than me, that's how I know it was 2 minutes and 4 seconds, because he watched on the clock.
Yeah, okay.
And I got on and I had to tackle, they were playing Manly and they were winning, and I got to tackle Noel Clearle and Chris Close, two really easy people to tackle. And that was the end of the game. Then I had to go home because I had to play 3rd grade the next day. And
yeah, right.
Then the next week we played Canterbury.
So why are you playing why are you going? So you played 2nd grade, 2 minutes of 1st grade, and then you went back and played 3rd grade.
Well, I was picked in 3rd grade, so I could then, because back then you had to sit on to sit on the bench for reserve grade. You had to have played a full game of reserve or 3rd grade,
but 3rd grade was the day after.
And to sit on the bench for 1st grade, you had to have played at least half a game in reserve grade or a full game of 3rd grade. And then back then, that was the start of 84, so Channel 10 had the Olympics. So they did 5 rounds in 3 weeks. So it was Sunday, Wednesday, Sunday, Wednesday, Sunday.
Yeah, wow.
So the Wednesday game, East played Canterbury, and I was working at the club, and I wasn't picked in 1st grade, so I didn't bother going to the game. I got reamed over that one. Well, given that I didn't, back then you got your money in July and November, and I was on a massive contract of $4,000.
Yeah.
Working at the club sort of kept me alive.
Yeah.
So then...
Wow, so they only pay you... So you got paid $2,000 twice a year?
Well, that year I did, yeah.
Far out.
And then, even like in it's still twice a year up until mid-90s.
Yeah, because everyone was
late
working.
mid-90s, yeah.
Everyone was working. Yeah, okay.
And I think that's why my finances are always so fucked, or stuffed.
Not okay. You can swear.
Because I was so used to getting this big pile of money, so you'd wait for the big pile of money, you'd come pay off all your debts, and then you'd live through the rest, and then you'd, I'm going to go and buy that or whatever. Bad. So I played reserve grade on the Thursday night, and then I was picked to play first grade against Penrith on the Sunday, same day that Brandy debuted.
Wow, there you go. Happy days. What was he like to play with?
No, I played against him.
But you played with him as well, though, didn't you?
Yeah. Oh, he's a freakish player. Yeah.
Freak. Yeah, cool. So from there, you went to the Dogs.
Yeah,
right?
So I played, 84. Oh, one story about that. So about 6 weeks in, so I played that game against Penrith, got a cork thigh, missed it the next week. And I played about 5 or 6 games in reserve grade. And Laurie Fryer turned up at the club one Monday. I was working, and he goes, I think you're ready to play first grade permanently. And I went, yeah, okay. I thought we were playing Parramatta next week, and they were the reigning premiers, and St George the week after, Craig Young, Robert Stone, Illawarra the week. I'll tell him when we're going to play Illawarra. I rocked up to training next night. I was in first grade, and we played Parramatta. We lost 8-4 at the cricket ground. I was on the front page of the Telegraph the next day. So pretty good. And then for the rest of the year, we won. I played 13 games, I think, and we won 2. So it was pretty demoralising. Then Beatso came in, and at the end of the year, because I think I came second to Brandy for Rookie of the Year.
These Artie Beeson you're talking about?
Yeah. And he was desperate to keep me, and I was sort of talking. And I had one more year of uni to go, and I didn't really want to go anywhere. And I wanted 25, given that I was on 4 the year before. And Ron Jones going, oh, you're worth 20. And I said, I've got to ring my dad. And I was in Ron Jones's office on my own. I didn't have a manager. And, let me speak to your father. Oh, look, Mr. Dunn, Max, I look upon Paul like he's my own son. Dad goes, well, why don't you just give him the extra $5,000? Hung up. I got the money. And so I played, and the next year did some really good things. We got to the last round. We played Penrith at the sports ground, and I saw Brandy do one of the most freakish things I ever saw. Chip over the top, ran through, scooped the ball up off the ground at full pace under the post untouched. And I think they ended up beating us 38-6 or 30-6. The highlight for me was I put a chip over for John Ferguson to score in the corner to get our only try as a front row.
Yeah, right.
But like that game, if we won that, we were going to be in a 3-way playoff with Manly. Like Wayne Chalice had already sent all his furniture back to Brisbane. The 2 Kiwis, Hugh McGahn and Dean Bell, they were more worried about the Kiwi tour than playing in the semis. I'm thinking, this is shit. And then I went to Canterbury, and I think first or second.
What dragged you to Canterbury? Was there someone?
Oh, well, I had a manager that time, Richard Fisk, and he was also looking after Ciro, I think. And he always had the best model for managing, because he was going to do everything for you, finances and all that, and not be a property developer like some of them are. No names. And we basically looked at, okay, there's 12 or 14 teams in the competition. Who would you play for, who you wouldn't? So we went and spoke to most of them. And then Canterbury, because Bullfrog was best mates with Ernie Hamilton, who was the chairman of selectors for the Australian team. And Canterbury were much more successful than the Roosters were. So that was largely what got me there. And then Don Ferner rang him a couple of minutes. And then I signed like before the semis, and they were still in the semis. So I got extra money to shut my mouth till they got beaten, because he was hoping they'd lose to get rid of Warren Ryan, and they won the grand final. So it got announced the week after the grand final, which back then nobody cared about.
Yeah, okay.
And but my mum and dad got a trip to England for the Kangaroo Tour out of the money that.
Happy day. So you got picked on the Kangaroo Tour when you're at the Roosters still? So your second year? No, later.
No, that was the end of 86, yeah. So
okay.
I went to Canterbury, second training session. Warren Ryan says, you're going to love grand final day. And I'm going, you what?
Yeah. Is that a pretty stacked side though? And you had like David Gillespie and Johnny Elias. Who else did you have?
Yeah, Johnny didn't play too many games.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, who
cigarettes.
Who else was in the team?
Oh, Kelly, Tunks, Folks, Gillespie, Langmack, Mortimer, Lamb, Farah, Curry, Sigsworth, Chris Mortimer, Peter Mortimer, Steve O'Brien.
Yeah, so half the Australian team flying.
Not that year. Oh, we had that year. Bar, Folksy, Cement, Tunksy were in the Australian team. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So a bit of success there at the Dogs. You won a comp. You won the Clive Churchill Medal, which is you tell me every single time I see you. So awesome. You wear it to golf half the time. Then obviously from
when I got it, it was in a case, so there's no ribbon to wear it. So you just stick that in your nose.
He did forget to give Liam Martin his Clive Churchill Medal 2 years ago. He was up on stage. But mate, what got you to the Mighty Panthers?
Or Gus mainly. So 86 had a great year. 87 come back after the Kangaroo Tour. I was overweight, probably had a big head. Didn't play that well. I remember that we played Balmain at Leichhardt and Warren Ryan said at halftime, "Welcome back, Paul Dunn and Terry Lamb." Then I did my medial, so I was out for the next 6 weeks.
Yeah, okay. That Kangaroo Tour, that's Freddie's initial one too, wasn't it?
No,
or was that later?
Freddie went in 90.
Oh, okay.
And then 88, Gus took over. So 87, if we beat St George in the last game, we could have made the semis, but we didn't. And then Wally Fulton-Smith got me with his elbow, went to tackle him, got me good. So the next day was Mad Monday, so I rung up work and said, I can't make it. So the day after in the Herald, there's a shot of the whole Canterbury team at the Belmore Hotel. And I'm in that, so I get to work and people have just plastered it all around the office. Off sick, hey?
Yeah.
And then 88, we just had a really good year. Like Gus came in, he's obviously a good coach. We're all very similar sort of age. Like 6 of us got married at the end of the next season, end of 89. And we're going through. And it's funny, I was writing the other week and I thought, wonder when Gus thought we could win it. So I texted him and he said, when we beat Canberra, because we went down to Canberra about 4 or 6 rounds out from the finish. And first time we'd ever done it, minibus down, stay overnight. Joey Thomas has been the bookie. Gus won the first 3 races, so Joey's gone white for a Lebo is pretty good. Then Gus threw off and then we did that, and then so we beat them down there, which is pretty special. And then we had quite a good bus trip back.
Yeah, nice. Because they beat you the year before, right, in the grand final? Or did you not play that year?
No, you're talking about Penrith. No, I'm still talking about Canterbury.
Oh, okay.
And then 89 was a shit of a year. They got rid of Gus. Opes took over. I was going quite well till end of round 11, and Andrew Farah fell on the back of my knee, and I tore 3 ligaments. Given you've only got 4, it's good job.
Wait, did you keep the ACL? You didn't tear that, right? It was MCL,
PCL, and medial.
Oh, you did all. Okay, yeah, right.
So the lateral was the only one that didn't get torn, and then they did a lateral loop with ITB. So, yeah.
Yeah, sweet.
And then that was the year they were going to have a draft, and there was all this bullshit. And Players Association, we went to court with the rugby league, and it's funny. My wife went down the Snow for the weekend, the grand final weekend, and there was a reunion with Bondi United on the Friday night. So I think I was talking to Wok on Friday night about going to West, and then Saturday morning, didn't get home till like 3 o'clock, so a little bit hungover. And I thought it was Wok again, but it must have been Gus. I reckon I was talking to him for 20 minutes. But ended up going out to Penrith because I thought he got the best out of me as a player. And, yeah, it was just... And he used this analogy the whole way through 1991 that every game we won, it was just a step closer down the freeway and the highway to get to the football stadium. And I think we lost 3 games. We lost the pre-season final up in Broken Hill to Brisbane, and then we lost 3 comp games all year. And every time we lost a game, someone had been sent to the sin bin. So,
yeah, right. Were you any of those?
No.
200 goody two-shoes.
I saw rib cartilage in that pre-season final, so I missed the next 3 weeks. One of the most painful injuries you ever get.
Not good, not good. Anyway, so you've won your second comp there at Penrith. Sort of fast forward through, you then finish. Yeah, then you get a para.
Yeah, well, 92 at Penrith wasn't good. That was a year Woods died, and
Yeah,
the whole place was really bad. And Gus said, "Get out of here." So I went to Parramatta. 3 options I had were Illawarra, Parramatta, a bit different to 8 years earlier. Parramatta, Illawarra, and Balmain, and I think Alan Jones was still coaching Balmain, and I met with Mick Cronin, and he was really good. I liked Mick, and so I went there, and we were going okay. We played the first 3 games were Penrith, Cronulla, Brisbane, and Rugby League Week had written earlier that the 3 hardest games to win away from home were those 3 games. So we won all those. We played St George on Sunday afternoon at Parramatta. The place is packed. First time Parramatta had won 3 games in a row since 1986. And then Ricky Walford scored a try right at the death to beat us. Then we went to Canterbury the next week on Easter Monday, and Brett Dallas ran rings around Michael Erickson, and I think they'd still be running the scoreboard up if they could. And then we sort of bumbled away, and we played Penrith because back then you used to play everyone once and then the first 7 teams twice, or first 6 teams twice. So we played Penrith the second time at Parramatta, and we were 2 points out of the 5 at that point, and 30 seconds from the end I tore my medial ligament in my right knee again. So I missed the rest of the year, and they lost the next 4, 5, and then they beat Balmain in the last game, so I finished 9th. And then the club wanted Mick to be a full-time coach, and he went, "No, I'm not doing that. Why do I need to do that?" And so they appointed Ronnie Hilditch, and the next 2 years were interesting.
Fair enough. All good. So with that, I guess what you were working all through this time, right, as well? Yeah. So we utilize what uni? What did you study at uni?
I did Bachelor of Business, majored in accounting, and I tried to be an accountant a couple of times and it worked out I didn't have the personality. I actually had a personality, so I couldn't do that.
So are you bouncing around different jobs at this stage as well, or are you building a professional career as you're doing whilst playing footy?
No. When I started at Canterbury, I was an assistant manager for HFC Finance, and I went to the gas company for 18 months in the management accounting area. Then I got a job with Sunshine Shirt Company as a company accountant. We won the grand final on the Sunday. I went to work on the Wednesday, Thursday, and then we flew out to Auckland on the Friday, and then we went to Hawaii for a week. Then I flew back and had to go into camp for the Australian side for the World Cup final. So in 3 weeks I was at work 2 days, and they went, "This isn't going to work out." So.
Oh, wow.
And I went, "Yeah, that's fair enough."
Yeah, there you go. A lot of the stuff, do you find a lot of lessons you've learned from sport and different things and coaches and mentors and things sort of intersect with business much?
Yeah, there is. I read your notes earlier and tried to work out what they were. Persistence and discipline, because when I first came to Sydney, I was at UTS, or the Institute of Technology as it was then. And Greg Mullane was there. He was a mature age student. He was playing first grade at Canterbury, I think, at the time. And I ended up playing with him in 86. And he said, "You play footy?" I went, "Yeah, play President's Cup for the Roosters. How you go?" "Yeah, okay. I just don't like training." And that was not quite true, but sounded good. And he went, "Oh, if you're going to be any good, you got to love training." And that sort of stuck with me for the rest of my life. So putting in effort, and, I always said I had 2 speeds, slow and very slow, so I just operated it slow. And in 1985, when Beach turned up the Roosters, we did a 2.4K time trial, and I beat all the wingers and the fullbacks home. So they all got a spray.
You're right.
"Yeah, you're in the front row, I did that." Well, I was quite fit. I think the persistence and the discipline to turn up and do the stuff you got to do. And it gets harder as you get older, I find it. But
in business as well?
Yeah. The football side of it, training was never really an issue.
Yeah.
Well, I always wanted to win, so you got to be your best physically to do that, and that's the training part of it. In business, learned a lot over the years, different things, different people. But it's just trying to combine it and make it work for you. Like at different times because I was doing financial planning while I was at Parramatta in my last year at the Roosters. And it was funny because I'd sold insurance before that, and they'd give me a sheet that you were supposed to fill in every week, and I was playing footy, so I didn't really care. And then I started working with this bloke, and he gave me a book and didn't fill that in. And then I started business coaching in 97, the year after I finished footy. And then I had this Excel spreadsheet that I filled in religiously for the next 4 years, and it was really good. It was like an activity sheet, how many calls we made, and they all got different points and added up. And I knew I was having a good week or a bad week, and So I think there's a lot to be said for that old saying, you can't manage what you don't measure.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got out of doing that and went to other things, and I've tried to replicate it a few times since, but it just doesn't do it for me. But I think I need to get back to that now.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So you mentioned business coaching. So when you finished at the Roosters, you took on business coaching. You still do that now, right?
Yeah. So when I finished at the Roosters, I was still doing financial planning with this guy, and up till then it had been, sort of part-time, because the last year at the Roosters we trained Tuesday, Thursday, have lunch on Friday, so it's probably 2.5 days a week. And then the next year it was full-time, and I just didn't see eye to eye with the guy I was with. I could take him in small doses, but not in big lots. And then I went to this conference with the financial planning group, and there was the topic of the talk was why small businesses shouldn't do a business plan. I thought, okay, it's counterintuitive enough to get me in there, so I went and watched it. And basically what he said was that you needed someone to facilitate your plan. You shouldn't do your own plan. You need an objective person. And funnily enough, my accountant knew this guy and had tried to get me to meet him about 3 years before.
Yeah, okay.
So I did that for 4 years, and I was doing work with some of the footy clubs, a few of the leagues clubs, stuff like that, had other clients. And then whilst I was finishing footy and that first couple of years out, I did an MBA in sports management.
Yeah, wow.
Through Southern Cross. And because I always wanted to be CEO of a football club.
Is that still a dream?
Be careful what you wish for. No, because when South got back in the comp, Gus threw my name up, and I did that for 14 months. It was
did you? Were you actually? I didn't even know that.
That was the longest 10 years of my life. There's so many really, really good things that happened, and it was so stressful. I remember I went home and said to my wife, I quit today. She said, thank God.
Wow. So let's touch on that quickly. So Gus threw your name in the ring. Is this when they're back in the comp or prior?
They just won their court case.
Okay. So were you involved in that at all? Like being part of the community and stuff? No?
No. I hated South.
Yeah. Still do. Yeah.
More so now.
Yeah. Okay. So
my in-laws are all South supporters, so,
there you go.
You can't go for them.
No.
And I got the job, and I thought, how good's this? One of the, the pride of the league and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
There's just so many people wanted to go back to where they were before, rather than I'm looking at, you've won 20 competitions and you've done this, you've done that, all these wonderful opportunities. And they had a telethon just after I got appointed on Channel 9, and had I think we had it up to 23,000 members. Now, a lot of them were paying $50, but you still had them on a database, and people in rugby league back then didn't really understand what that was worth. And, now they're all talking about membership because they've seen what the AFL's been able to do.
Well, what would a club have now?
The good clubs have got over 30.
Yep.
Brisbane would have over 40, 50.
Yeah.
But you go down, Collingwood's got over 100.
Yeah.
A lot of those Melbourne clubs have got
crazy,
around 100.
Hey?
And
considering they're all in the same area.
That in itself is just what you can do with that.
Invaluable, yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of people in rugby league didn't get it. And what do you want to do that for? And funny one though, the Saturday after the telethon, I'm in the office because we've got the staff to paint the office because they weren't flush with funds, and get a phone call. So I'm answering the phone for the thing. Who's this? Anthony Gilligan. Anthony Gilligan was a really good golfer, sort of 80s and 90s. And he said, I said, the golfer. And he went, yeah. He said, who's that? He said, Paul Dunn. He said, the CEO. And I went, yeah. what are you doing? I'm answering the phone, mate, because we're all in here, you know. So we had really good. It was fun. It was exciting. It was like running a startup and a going concern at the same time.
Yeah.
And they won their court case on July the 6th. I got appointed on July 18. And back then the signing window finished, or it opened up on July 1.
Yeah.
So we were 18 days late getting into the market.
All right. I was going to ask that. So were you involved in signing many of the players?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're involved in it. So how did you have a whiteboard? How did you go about it?
We had a great Phil Gould telling us what we should have. And you needed a fullback, a centre, a 5'8", a halfback, a second rower and a front rower and a hooker.
Yeah.
They didn't talk about spines back then.
Okay.
They were going to be on your big money, and then you worked around that.
Yeah.
And yeah, then it was just catch and kill your own, really.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So it was, what about like funding? Did the club have money?
Yeah. Well, you got money from the NRL, nothing like what they get now. But the Motor Accidents Authority, they pledged $500,000 a year. They were our sleeve sponsor. Kerry Stokes was giving us $1 million. I think he was giving us $1 million.
You had TV Week on the front, didn't you?
Yeah, it was supposed to be Caterpillar.
Yeah, okay.
But Westrack had his company was Westrack. They didn't get the rights till New South Wales till in 2002. So we had to go with TV Week because we had to put something on the jumpers to sell them for Christmas.
Yeah.
Which meant we then got to go to the Logies.
How was that?
That was funny. We're sitting in second row from the front, right in the middle. Ray Warren and all the footy show people, they walk past. How'd you get to sit here? We've been coming here for years and we never get. Yeah, whatever.
So good. So good. So did you captain many teams when you were playing footy?
No.
Okay. So
I captained Bathurst High School. The first year I did that didn't last very long. And then the next year I learnt my lesson and didn't yell at them all because they were useless.
Oh, so when you took on leadership roles in business, like you learnt not to yell at people then?
Oh, no, I'd learnt long before then. And then I captained Canterbury Reserve Grade once. First week back from my knee injury.
Yeah, okay. So what do you think taught you leadership in business to get the CEO sort of role?
I've always been a leader.
Okay.
And then I was captain at Parramatta for 2.5 years.
Yeah, so you did captain.
Yeah. 50 games.
There you go. Bang.
So that's my joke. The only club I got to captain, and I played the last time they won a grand final. I was on the losing side.
Yeah, nice. I
said that to Ray Price the other week at this golf day, and he's looking at me going, "You weren't on our side." I said, "No, I was on the losing side."
That's funny. I didn't even know that. There you go. Cool. So obviously with that, what are sort of core principles you reckon, like sport sort of taught you that you now implement in business? So like self-belief, discipline, you sort of mentioned things like that, like the continuous learning. So
continuous learning for me is a big thing. So I drive around, listen to podcasts and books, and
yeah, I know you're a massive fan of my podcast, so I appreciate that.
Yeah. What's it called again?
I don't know. Or how do you stay motivated now? Is that continuous learning piece?
A bit, but I like to win, and I really like doing the coaching because I definitely help people doing that. And
yeah, can you explain what you do in that regard?
So generally what I start off with most, because I do a lot of work in licensed clubs now, so a lot of that's around doing an operational plan. So it's the process I got when I bought the franchise 28 years ago. And that's what I did for that first 4 years. And I do a little bit of personal coaching, but not much, but more in a business sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then now what I picked up earlier this year, I bought a license with this
AI
company in America doing AI transformation training. So getting people to understand how they can use AI in their role specifically, rather than just buying an AI tool and it does what every other software does.
Yeah.
You use probably 10% of it and then don't really understand how to use it. This is more about how you can generate ROI from your role.
Yeah, okay.
And
is it going to help our golf games? Or are they're too far gone?
I have asked it to give me some coaching. I'm just waiting for the short game area to open up. That would have helped me yesterday. About 4 shots. And I could have got the same score as you.
I don't know about that.
It's really... So...
I played pretty good yesterday. I don't know about that.
Well, you had 19, didn't you?
Something like that,
I
yeah.
had 15, so it was only 4 shots. And I played terrible. The business and sport thing is really interesting because I think it does help. And, people have always said over the years, you'd be successful because you were successful at sport. But, even when we played, they told you what time you had to be at training, what you had to wear. It isn't as prescriptive as it is now. And I think sometimes that's why they struggle a little bit now because they don't even have to think about anything. But yeah, it's part of it's that will to just be the best you can be. And there's a really good book by Don Miguel, something or other, called The Four Agreements. The first one is be impeccable with your word. Don't take things personally. Don't make assumptions, and always be your best. And he said, you're never going to do them all 100% of the time, but if you're aiming to do those things, you're going to be a lot further ahead than people who don't. I said that to my mate one day who's really high up at Lion, and he said, yeah, his son wrote a book called The Fifth Agreement, and I haven't read that one yet. But it is about, what are your principles and what are your values? And I remember when I went to Parramatta, I could have been a bit harder, I think, because when I went to Canterbury, it was like you just did what you had to do, or you got spat out the back end by the team. It wasn't even so much the coaching stuff. But you go to Parramatta and there'd be blokes a metre short at every end. You'd be doing up and backs for 10 metres.
Yeah.
They'd be a metre short at every end, and you go, no wonder you stuff up on the weekend.
It's kind of like similar to what you're sort of saying. I had James Maloney on here a couple of weeks ago, and he was sort of saying, he was talking about the current Penrith team, but how, players who are kind of fringe players at other clubs, like say a backup halfback can come into the club and have their best season at the club when they're only filling in for Nathan or Jerome or whoever was the half at the time, but they're coming in and they go to other clubs and they're not probably playing as well. He was talking about when he first debuted in Melbourne, he was getting the ball off Cameron Smith, he was passing it to Cooper Cronk, he had GI out wide, he had Billy Slater out the back. How can you how can you go wrong when you've sort of got that? So you're kind of plugging and placing. They're driving those standards of hitting those, when you're doing your Malcolms, you're hitting the line or you're going over the line and things like that, as opposed to taking those shortcuts. It's kind of just something that is that snowball effect,
right?
Canterbury,
we used to do coat hangers, halfway, goalpost, back to the halfway. And the backs had to do 35 seconds, the forwards had to do 38. And Langmack and I would grab one of Peter Kelly's hands and we'd drag him between the two goalposts to make sure because if one person missed out, the whole group had to do it again.
Yeah, okay.
Or the forwards had to do it again.
Yeah.
And we weren't doing that. But when you get out and you play,
got each other's
at
back,
the Roosters,
teamwork.
you're sort of worried about what's happening on either side of you. You go to Canterbury and you've got Chris Mortimer or Andrew Farrow there, and I got Peter Kelly or Peter Tunks or someone there. All you had to do was worry about doing your job. You didn't have to worry about other people, and that's the thing I think a lot of people don't get in business is they don't train their staff well enough. The last thing we used to do at Canterbury in 1986, 87 was we'd all get in a line, middle of the field, and we would really slow jog down to the try line, back to the other try line, back to the try line. We would do 6 laps like that. And the thing I learned out of that is the line is your friend.
Yeah.
If you stay in the line. So when I coached my son's team, I used to say that. So the kids, they would say it all the time, the line is your friend, the line is your friend. If you keep a line, okay, someone's going to miss a tackle now and again, but it's harder for someone to get through than if there's a big gap.
For sure. There's a great analogy with that in business too. Like if you're all aligned in what you're working towards and on that goal, it's the same thing. Align's your friend.
Yeah. So a lot of what I do from a coaching perspective is about improving communication and improving the accountability, both individually and as a group. And they're the two biggest challenges in most businesses: is communication or lack of, and accountability, or there's none of it.
Definitely.
So you put those things in place. So you have systems, put those systems in place. And the good thing now with AI is because nobody likes writing procedures, AI can write the procedure for you. So you can, working with some of the smaller clubs at the moment, because compliance is a big issue in the club industry, trying to catch up with what, like the big clubs are employing people, 2, 3, 4. One group's got 15. In their compliance area. Like small clubs can't afford to do that. So the way they can get around that is by utilising AI to
absolutely
catch up. Yeah.
It's scary in terms of like the workforce though, being replaced, hey?
Yeah, but I don't at this stage, they're talking about agents and all this stuff happening. Like they were talking about agents at the start of this year because I listened to a few podcasts about that, and they're nowhere near where they said they were going to be at the start of the year. So I reckon that's a way off. The best way you can use it at the moment, unless you're a big company and you've got a stack of money to throw at it, is, you know, being able to use AI yourself in your role and get the most out of it.
Yeah, adapt.
Which means you're not going to lose your role. You're just going to get better at it.
Yeah.
So the three things I talk about are productivity, quality, so you can do it quicker, you can do it better, and then it allows you to go and get more engaged in your proper job.
Happy days, love it. Adapt or die.
Mm.
What, and this sort of goes back to your footy days as well. Like, how do you define mental toughness or mental strength? Because you don't have any on the golf course, but you did in your playing career and you're doing business.
Lucky you're not in our group on Saturday. The, mental toughness. I think it's just the ability to push through things when you know things aren't falling your way.
Yeah.
Because if you're heading in the right direction,
love that.
Something's going to turn around sooner or later. But be mindful of the fact that you need to take note of the signposts because you might actually be going down a one-way path to nowhere. So you need to be willing to take detours occasionally.
I love that. That's a cracking analogy. Well done. Really, that was awesome. I guess, and I didn't know you were the CEO of South, but like I guess you talked about the stress and pressure that was, and then with a club that's as loud as South, there would have been a ton of public scrutiny as well.
Yeah, when I left, it made it easy not to like them again.
Yeah. Okay.
Because there were plenty of people willing to pile on, and the sad thing about it was, and it still applies in football clubs now, is I always looked at it. The only way I got a benefit out of it was if the club improved, because I wasn't there to rip them off and do anything like has happened previously. But there's so many people involved in sport, and it's what they can get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I always sort of looked at it, and even when I was on the board at Canterbury a couple of times, I always looked at it that I got a lot out of the game, so it was how I could give back.
Yeah.
And I love being involved in it. I've learnt now not to be involved in it because it's just a complete head. Yeah.
You bet, like, for example, you forgot, like you were presented the Clive Churchill Medal last year. Like you do give back in some ways to the game, though.
Yeah, but that was real honour.
That's an honour, yeah.
If they
but like you go to
people
the
to hand it out, I'm happy to hand it out.
Yeah. But like you go to the kangaroo reunions and you kind of head most of that.
I go to every reunion.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that to me is not giving out back. That's
selfish.
That's part of just hanging around with the guys that you know, and it's good catch up and. But giving back, like being on the board I was on the board of Mental League for 4 years.
Yeah. You're on the board of the Dogs too, aren't you?
Twice.
Yeah.
And people go, "You're going to get back on again?" I went, "No, my wife would leave me."
Well, so what's involved, like, and this is a bit of a question in terms of like that term gets thrown around a bit, like, oh, I'm on the board. Can you explain what that means?
So basically, if you're on the board of a company or a club, you're a director.
Yeah.
And there's certain...
Is it a paid role?
At Canterbury, it wasn't so much the first time round. It got a bit more. If you're the chair, it's...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not... It's probably not worth it, but you get paid quite well. But, there's one board meeting a month. You might be on one or two committees. It's another meeting. Some people get really involved in it more than they should. Generally, you're going to go to the games, or the home games anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just got to... The hardest part about it is managing all the politics.
Yeah, okay.
I remember a guy told me years ago when I was in... when I first started business coaching, it was at the Sydney Basketball Association. He said there's more politics in sport than there is in politics. And I would tend to agree with him now, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's people just, manoeuvring and... Yeah.
Do you think that's because it's more of a passion thing, so people are always angling for their own
it's
sort
very
of way?
emotional, yeah.
Yeah.
And, for a lot of people to say, I'm on the board,
Yeah.
I'm on the board of the Bulldogs, well, that's probably the greatest achievement they've ever had.
Yeah.
For me to say I'm on the board of the Bulldogs with all due respect is, I was really honoured and it was good, but I said the best two things about it were parking under the ground at ANZ or Accor Stadium and my daughter got to sit in the box because she feels that's where she should watch football from. But other than that, it was how do I help?
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Did that help with like the business coaching? Like, did you get like clubs out of that, or was
no?
Like,
the first I did coaching from 97 to 2001, and then I got the job at South, and then I didn't get back into sort of any real coaching till 2007. I did a couple of other jobs, and I did that till 2012, and then had a share in a marketing agency for 8 years, until that went the way of the dodo. Me and my partner grew apart, and then I got back into coaching then. So, and I started coaching with clubs again. St George Leagues Club was my first client in 22.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm still doing work.
Oh, where is it that recent you restarted? Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know it was that recent.
That was my third go at it. Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
That's why I say I'm in my third iteration as a business coach, and I feel I do all the obviously older so you learn more, but much better job and. But it led into now I'm doing this risk assessment tool for smaller clubs and the AI training. I really like that because, yeah,
cool. It's you adapting as well.
Yeah.
In terms of like, so obviously it was a little bit different back in the day when you retired, like you were working anyway. But in the way it's gone down the professional angle, like the sport, what advice do you have for like young people like transitioning out of professional sport into the workforce?
It's really hard given AI and all that sort of stuff but go and get some skills behind you or some training. Maybe go and do, and the NRL do this with long-serving players. I don't know about younger blokes, but they'll do some career assessment type stuff. And it depends whether you want to, like, I find it really hard to work for anyone else. I've got to work for myself or own the company because then I get to go and do whatever I like. I suppose if I had my time again, I would have probably stuck at the business coaching because I was going quite good at that. And if I waited one more year, I would have got the job at Canterbury as well. That would have been different.
Yeah, okay. Why is that?
Oh, because that's when they had the salary cap thing, and I was already doing work at the Leagues Club and the football club, and I was a logical.
Yeah, okay.
But by that stage, I'd worked out I didn't want to be CEO of a football club.
But that would have been like, it would have been about the time because that was 2002, and you went in 2002, South, right?
Yeah, but I quit like 3 weeks after they got the salary cap thing. So yeah, it was all done and dusted by then. Yeah.
That would have been a shit show to put that together anyway.
Sorry?
That would have been a shit show to put that together.
No, I don't think it would have been because good people, and the salary cap thing, that was just, because I remember looking at in the Sydney Morning Herald when they wrote what they got paid and the extras they got, none of them really deserved to get paid any extra because I knew what the market was worth at the time, and because they're all young blokes and, coming up, they're probably on the right money. It's just that someone's ego got in front and said, oh, well, I'll go and give you all this extra, and
yeah, okay.
And they got sprung. Someone transitioning out is, if I look back now, is stick at something long enough, because I chopped and changed a few times, and I always had the skill set that I could manage my way through, but I think I could have positioned myself a lot better. That's what I was at a Roosters function, which is on again next week, last year, and Kerry Bowstead's there, and he said, "You still working, Dunny?" And I went, yeah. Due to some astute financial decisions in my early life, I'm still working. And he went, I can use that.
Love it.
So, yeah, that was one of the things. And I think probably a lot of rugby league players think about it now. Because we've got those chunks of money, it gave you a false
economy.
Yeah. And you didn't really get good at managing money,
Yeah, there you go. I guess let's talk a little bit about today's game. As an old front rower, you play front row, right?
And second row,
yeah. As an old but you all played in the middle back then, right? It wasn't really like edge players, right? As a back rower.
Oh no, the second row, you're on the edge of the front row.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. What's your thoughts?
But then it wasn't left and right, so I could be on either side.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You kind of weren't like an edge player.
You weren't pigeonholed. And
yeah. You're running around sort of just tackling. What's your sort of take on the way the game's sort of evolving and the way the position it's in at the moment?
One of the challenges that the game had goes back like 30 years when they started to get full-time coaches. Because then the full-time coach sort of had to justify why they were a full-time coach. So
Okay.
I think players get overcoached now.
Yeah.
In some ways.
Explain what you mean by that.
Well, I think they've coached the football out of the kids sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do that, you got to do that. You know.
Yeah, Jimmy Maloney again. He explained that in a sense of like. Every time a club comes back and they might have not have gone well last year and they talk about, what he's been working on in the preseason. We want to play more eyes up footy. And he was like, well, what do you play normally? Like he goes, the analogy he uses is if you get like three 6-year-olds, and you say it's you two versus you, what's the one kid who's on his own going to say? That's unfair.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you go on a short side when you got 2 on 1? So, go on.
Teaching kids that sort of stuff because I mentioned before I coached my son's team for 6 years. And Joey Thomas, he coached his son's side and they were a couple of years older. And Joey is a disciple of the game or a student of the game. So I just used to go and get the drills off him because I was doing it because I didn't like other people coaching my kids because they didn't teach them anything and then they'd yell at them because they weren't doing the things they hadn't taught them about.
Yeah.
3-on-2s, 2-on-1s, all that sort of stuff, teaching kids how to tackle properly, getting it so that the kids can enjoy the game. And I think as soon as they get into a system, then it just becomes, you've got to coach them within an inch of their life. And I remember watching Jamal Idris play Harold Matts against Nat Butcher.
No, different age groups. Idris is older than Nat Butcher.
Okay, who's the other one that looks like Jamal Idris?
Looks like Jamal. Ockham? I don't know.
Might have been Jammer, but whoever it was, he was their best player. And
who was he playing for?
Playing for Canterbury. And they got beat 52-0 at Redfern. This is if Nat was under 18,
it would have been like 2014,
2015 or 16. So.
Yeah.
Well, I was still on the board, so it would have been 2014.
Yeah.
Nat would have been a year young. And, the Canterbury kid, he was stuck on that side and didn't touch the ball. End of the year, I'm watching Canterbury SG Ball play in the final out at Campbelltown and the Harold Matts coach is there. How's your season? He said, just they weren't fit enough. I said, didn't you coach them 4 nights a week? He said, yeah, but I had to teach them how to. So they're teaching 15 and 16-year-olds how to defend like first graders when they should be teaching them how to play football and getting them fit and enjoying their football.
Yeah.
But it's just so, in some ways, it's very anemic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. Do you enjoy watching the game now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that first grade game?
Yeah.
Do you go watch me in the juniors or third grade or anything?
No, I never go to that.
Yeah, fair. Who's your who do you really support now?
Penrith and Canterbury. So.
Yeah, okay. Who's your favourite players to watch?
Full transparency. So when I got kicked off the board at Canterbury the second time.
When was this?
In 2020.
Yep.
The following February, I was down at Clovelly Surf Club and someone was bagging the Bulldogs and bagging the Roosters. I went, no, I'm a Penrith supporter, player number 304. And then 2 days later, I walked past Jeff Carr at like 5:30 in the morning near Tamarama Surf Club. Dunny, you're a Penrith supporter now. And then they won the next 4 comps, so it worked out good.
Yeah, we had a few running jokes at golf all the time.
Yeah. But this year I sort of got over myself and got back into Canterbury a lot more.
Okay.
Because I realised that just certain people I didn't like, not the club.
Yeah, fair. What players do you enjoy watching in today's game?
Nathan Preston.
Jacob Preston.
Same thing. I used to coach Nathan Preston. Jacob Preston, my mate with the Clive Churchill.
Liam.
Yeah, Liam Martin. Nathan Cleary.
Yeah. No front rowers.
The
Dogs don't have any, so.
I don't feel it. Max King I like. I'm really looking forward to Leo Thompson turning up there next year because I reckon that's going to change their season. That's going to turn them around.
They came top 4. For straight says.
Yeah, but I don't think they didn't have a really good forward pack. But having another front rower in there.
Mm.
So Max King did a good job, and after Origin, he was a shot duck, I think. Because he was pretty much carried on his back, and then so having Leo to balance that out a little bit will help.
Yeah.
And then Jack Todd, he goes good, but he keeps breaking his arms. And it's going to be really interesting to see how Mitch Woods go.
So will he start at 7, you reckon?
I don't know that he'll start, but he'll be there very soon after.
Yeah, okay. So what's your take on what they'll end up doing? Where's Birdo go?
He plays there. The Tiger kid goes to 5'8".
And where's Birdo end up?
I reckon he probably ends up left centre, which...
Where's Cherry go?
Good question. The problem with putting Matt Burton in the centres, though, is you lose from a kicking perspective.
Yeah.
He's just a little bit wider. I know
Galvin doesn't have a kicking game either.
No.
Not like Burton's.
No, so that's a loss to them. But they got good kids coming through, so you'll find that. And then Penrith, it's interesting that they let Liam Henry go.
Is he gone? Is he Perth?
I think so. Oh, well, that's next year, though.
Yeah.
I really like watching him play. I like watching Liam Martin, obviously, and Moses. And there's a front row for you.
Love it.
That last 20 minutes in the 2023 grand final, I know Nathan played outstanding, but
Moses was unbelievable.
Moses came on, it was amazing.
Him and Fish in that grand final was so underrated what they did.
That last 25 minutes of Moses was just
special.
Next level, yeah. Especially when you're up against Payne Haas, who's like about that big, you know.
Yeah. Well, what about how crazy that New Zealand forward pack was in that Pacific Champs just then? That was got to be one of the most stacked forward packs ever.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting, the World Cup next year. I like watching Casey McLean.
How good's he going to be?
Because I think he's actually worked out that he's a big kid and he should play like a big kid.
Mate, imagine when he grows into his face. He still looks like he's 10 years old.
But I remember at the Penrith reunion, we're on the field doing the Guard of Honour shit. And
Guard of Honour shit.
And he ran out and I had to look up and go,
yeah.
Oh. I didn't
and
realise
he's big and fast and skillful.
Yeah.
He's got it all.
If he could learn to tackle, it'd be really good.
I can't wait to see him this year. It's you know what Ivan Cleary did with him? You know when you get a new iPhone? So you get the iPhone 16 and then you get the iPhone 17 and it's like a little bit skinnier, a little bit faster and a little bit better. He got Critter and he turned him into an iPhone 17. That's a joke, by the way. I understand Critter's the best centre in the world. But I love Casey and I think he's outstanding. Mate, is there much like when you retired?
I love Brian Toto.
Vizza, how good's he?
He's good.
Greatest winger ever?
No.
Who's the greatest winger ever?
Greatest winger ever? Oh, there's thousands of them.
Better than Bizza?
Johnny King.
Who?
Who's the kid from Souths? Going to break the record?
He's not the greatest winger, the greatest try scorer ever.
He
scores tries. He's
Eric Groth.
Junior?
No, not
Senior.
Wingers, Kerry Bowstead was really good. Oh, it's a stack of really good wingers.
Okay. Who's your greatest player of all time right now, as it stands?
Cameron Smith.
Okay.
My family at one stage thought I was a closet Melbourne supporter because I like him that much.
Yeah, he's special.
Terry Randall is my hero.
Okay.
He played with Manly in the 70s and early 80s.
Yeah, there you go. What
I saw him hit Bob O'Reilly one day at the sports ground. He hit him, and Bob O'Reilly was like 16 stone, and he just...
What position did he play?
Front row.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, Terry Randall was front row, second row, yeah.
Yeah, okay. There you go. When you retired, did you, what do you miss about playing, and what do you don't miss about playing?
By the last year, basically, it took me 5 days to get over playing.
Okay. So you're that done with it?
No. My body was that stuff. I missed all that teamwork and the camaraderie and, the 2 years after I finished playing, I reckon I was depressed.
Okay.
But nobody did that. But how I self-medicated, and I was a member at the footy stadium, so I'd go out to watch the Roosters play home games and just get smashed. And
what do you drink? Just beer?
No, it was just beer.
Yeah. I guess that sort of furthers to my question earlier and what I was getting at. Like what, like it's a big part of your life that you dream your whole life, then just one day it's over.
And
So
back then it was over.
yeah,
Like, went Mad Monday on the Monday, and Tuesday it's all over and
back at work.
And then all of a sudden my wife's putting dinner on the table at 6 o'clock because we had 2 young kids, and I'm going, I don't eat dinner at 6 o'clock. I eat dinner at 8
Footy
o'clock.
training, yeah.
And that took a while, and yeah, just the
What got you through that? Like that, is that mentally tough spot where you just thought just keep trucking along, or what?
No, I think that was alcohol. And I had some mates that were close to, they were similar sort of spot, but
Yeah.
excuse me, didn't really talk about it that much at that time. But, you know, it's more in hindsight now that I recognise that.
Yeah. Is that being part of Mental League, or was that something you noticed and then became part
The
of
Mental League didn't start till 6 years after I finished. So.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean though. Like, so when you became a part of that, was that a byproduct of like you going through it in your own sort of way, or?
No, that was Jimmy Hall ringing up and going, Dunny, do you want to be on the board of Men of League? I went, yeah, all right. He said, good, you're the treasurer.
Fair enough.
That was on a Monday night. I'm half asleep on the lounge, yeah. How all good decisions are made. No, I suppose because I had to earn money for my family, and so you just push forward. And
Yeah, cool. I suppose, like off the back of that, what do you do for your mental health now? I know you play golf, obviously, and different
I
things.
meditate. I probably meditate minimum of 3, ideally 7 days a week. I've got this app called The Way by Henry Shookman, and you can have 10 minutes, 15 minutes or 20. I just did 10 minutes. I do that. That's pretty good. I got that off Tim Ferriss. And I do a little bit of Tai Chi, and I ride my bike a lot. I probably average somewhere between 100 and 200 Ks a week on my bike. Yeah.
I know you do a lot of bike. I didn't know that much. That's heaps. There you go.
So I've ridden 5,300 Ks this year.
Far out. There you go.
And I love
Imagine if you had good knees.
My knees are fine.
Yeah.
It's more my back.
Fair enough. You in the lycra, mate. This has been
What's
awesome.
wrong with that?
No, I love it, mate. You look good. You look good in lycra. You look good when you chuck those tights on before golf as well. For context, Dunny tucks tights, Under Armour tights on, and
Funny guy.
as soon as he puts them on, he says his back feels 30 times better. Is it 30?
I don't know about that, but I just feel better.
Fair enough, mate. Thank you for this. I got
my
3
fat ass together.
Yeah, I know you're a massive fan of this podcast, so you're going to know what these 3 questions are. I've got 3 questions for you. If 16-year-old Dunny walks through the door, what are you telling him?
Just focus on football, not trying to be good at 2 things, because you can't do that.
Okay, cool. Focus. What's your go-to cheat meal?
Cheat meal.
Yeah.
Like
if you're hungover or you just feel like a
hamburger because we moved to Chifley last year, so Crazy Chicks at Malabar, they got really good Aussie burger.
Yeah, cool. Say this weekend, I'm not playing this weekend anyway, but like if you can't pick me, you dream golf for some people dead or alive.
Ooh. Wow. Michael Jordan.
Love it. How do you reckon you go teeing off in front of MJ? You get nervous in front of me.
You're not very funny, mate. Who did I say? Michael Jordan, Arnold Palmer, and Gus.
Love it. Unreal. For what reasons?
Oh, Michael Jordan, because I know he plays golf, and I love watching him play basketball, and Arnold Palmer because he was genius, and Gus because he loves his golf, and yeah.
Yeah, nice. Are you taking him out the coast or are you going somewhere else?
No, probably, take him to the coast. It's in pretty good.
Show your name on the wall. Awesome, mate. I really appreciate this.
Twice, you know.
Is it?
Once as treasurer and once on the honour board.
You a hole in one or not?
No.
It was a.
No, I won the Memorial Trophy one year.
Did you?
Yeah.
There you go. Look at you go.
So when you said I didn't have mental toughness, the year before I won it, I finished birdie, par, birdie, double for 45 points.
Mate, I reckon I've played.
And the double was the 3-putt. And so I finished on 45 level, had a playoff 2 months later and got smashed. And then the year later I won it on 40 points.
Yeah, nice. I reckon I've played with you 20 times this year and haven't seen you have 2 birdies.
No, 3. Well, that was 3 birdies.
Yeah.
3 birdies in 4 holes.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Never had birdie, par, birdie, double. 3 in 5 holes, yeah.
Bang. Mate, really appreciate it. Super appreciative of your support. And, mate, this has been a good chat. So thank you, Dunny. Cheers.
Thanks, Mitch.